संयतचित्तात्मा त्यक्त्वा सर्वपरिग्रहः शारीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Krishna says that a person who gives up desires, controls their mind and does not cling to possessions while only focusing on their physical duties remains free from sin. Such a person acts purely and is not tainted by the results of their actions. This verse teaches that by giving up personal desires and focusing on doing one's duties without attachment, a person can act in a pure and sinless way. It emphasizes that true purity comes from the inner state of mind and the renunciation of material attachments while fulfilling one's responsibilities. Adrichalabasantushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhavasiddhau cha kritvapi nanibadhyate. Krishna describes a person who is happy with whatever they get by chance and is not disturbed by life's ups and downs. This person is free from jealousy and treats success and failure equally. Such a person is not bound by the results of their actions. This verse teaches that true peace comes from being content with whatever comes our way and remaining unaffected by the dualities of life, like success and failure. It shows that a balanced mind and freedom from envy can lead to liberation from the effects of actions. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasaha yajnaya charatah karma samagram praviliyate. Krishna explains that a person who has given up attachment is free from bondage and focuses their mind on wisdom will find that all their actions performed as offerings become absorbed and do not bind them. This verse teaches that actions done with the intention of selflessness and offering rather than for personal gain will not lead to bondage. Instead, such actions are purified and integrated into a higher purpose. It shows that true freedom comes from performing duties with a selfless attitude and focusing on spiritual wisdom. Brahmarpanam brahmahave brahmagnau brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Krishna explains that in a sacred offering or ritual, everything is connected to Brahman, the ultimate reality. The person offering, the offering itself, and the process of offering are all aspects of Brahman. Ultimately, the goal of such actions is to reach or unite with the Brahman. This verse teaches that when we perform actions with a deep understanding of the divine, everything involved in the action becomes sacred. It shows that spiritual practices are not just about the actions themselves, but about the realization of the divine presence in every aspect of the process. The ultimate aim is to reach a higher state of unity with the divine. Daivameva pare yagyai yoginah paryupasate brahmagnava pare yagyai yajnenaivopajuhyati. Krishna explains that different people practice sacrifices in different ways. Some yogis offer their sacrifices to divine beings, while others perform their sacrifices by dedicating them to the ultimate reality Brahman. This verse shows that there are various paths to spiritual practice. One way is to make offerings to the gods and goddesses, while another way is to focus on the ultimate divine principle itself. Both methods are valid and lead to spiritual growth, depending on the individual's understanding and approach. Shrotradini indriyanyanye संयमाग्निषु जुह्यति शब्दादीन् विषयान्यन्य इंद्रियाग्निषु जुह्यति. Krishna describes different types of sacrifices. Some people discipline their senses like hearing and seeing as a form of offering. Others focus on controlling their desires for sensory pleasures like sounds and sights as their offering. This verse shows that there are many ways to practice self-discipline. Some people focus on controlling their senses themselves, while others focus on controlling the desires for sensory experiences. Both approaches are important for spiritual growth and self-mastery. Sarvani indriya karmani pranakarmani chapare atma sanyama yogagnau juvyati jnana deepite. Krishna explains that some people offer all their sensory actions and life activities into a fire of self-control guided by knowledge. This means they use their understanding to discipline their senses and actions, treating their self-discipline as a form of offering. This verse teaches that self-discipline and control of one's senses, fueled by wisdom, are important practices in spiritual growth. By using knowledge to guide and purify their actions, individuals make their daily activities a form of spiritual offering. द्रव्ययज्ञास्तपो यज्ञा योगयज्ञास्तथा परे स्वाध्यायज्ञानयज्ञश्च यतयः संचितव्रताः. Krishna describes different ways people offer sacrifices. Some give material things, others do penance, and some practice spiritual exercises. There are also people who focus on studying and gaining knowledge as their sacrifice. These practices are followed by serious and disciplined seekers. This verse shows that there are many paths to spiritual growth, whether through giving, penance, yoga, or learning. Each method is a form of sacrifice and is practiced by dedicated individuals. It highlights the diversity of approaches in seeking spiritual advancement. Apane juvyati pranam prane panam tatha pare pranapanagati ruddhva pranayama parayana. Krishna explains that some people use their breath control practices as a form of sacrifice. They offer their life breath into the outgoing breath and vice versa. By managing the flow of their breath, they are dedicated to the practice of controlling their breath. This verse teaches that breath control or pranayam is a significant spiritual practice. It involves regulating one's breath to achieve control over the life force, which helps in spiritual development. It shows that different forms of sacrifice, including breath control, can be part of spiritual practices. Apare niyataharav pranan praneshu juvyati sarvepyete yajnavido yajnakshapita kalmashah. Krishna describes that some people follow strict dietary rules and use their breath control as a sacrifice. By doing so, they are engaging in a form of spiritual practice. Such individuals who understand the true meaning of sacrifice cleanse themselves of their impurities through these practices. This verse highlights that maintaining discipline in one's diet and breath control is also a form of sacrifice. It shows that by adhering to spiritual practices and understanding their deeper significance, individuals can purify themselves and advance spirituality.